Welcome to my channel. Today we're looking at this project, which is very simple and is crucial for front-end developers. In this project we have a heading with basically one menu item here, and here we have the hero section of this university called Kasamba University, with the motto "Excellence is our priority" and some dummy text here together with a button. And you can see when you hover over the button, the color covers the whole entire area here. So when you click the menu button, there is a slide sidebar with this content of somebody enrolled at this university. So we have some button to cancel this, where when you hover over, it indicates red, and you can see some small transition around here that shows that when we click, it closes up the sidebar. And something you notice also is when you click on this menu, and if this is activated, our sidebar, you see some blur background. We could not see the heading or everything behind this well. This is a model, and again there's a pointer here, meaning when you click on it, it closes up this, and the whole of this work is done by JavaScript. So we're looking at this menu today. When you find this content very enjoyable, please subscribe and like many people to learn. Let's develop the web together. And with this, let's dive into our coding environment and start doing the coding. So here we have some few files here. One, we have HTML file, which is this one here, and basically I have some skeleton of it. There's nothing absolutely inside, and here in the file tree we have some SVG images that we're going to be using for our sidebar. And then we have JavaScript file open here in the name of main.js, and then style.css here. So we have a title of sidebar. I've just opened it here with live server at this spot, and you can see it's completely empty, so I'll fill everything together. So without wasting time, let's link up these files together. Coming to our main file here, index.html, and then link the style by having link. I think you can select this one here directly, and the name style.css, so it has been linked here. Now let's link the JavaScript together by script, and we select this. So we give the name, it was main.js attribute here, such that it loads after everything has been loaded on this page. So with this, we can go ahead and test whether our JavaScript is working by using alert. We have this pop-up here saying hello, meaning it is linked well to our sheet here. So let's remove it off and come back later. Now in our index.css file, let's try to create a heading for this, and we can use header to wrap over our heading. Now we only need to have some few things. Maybe let me create some div to contain our menu. So here let's have this maybe saying head, and then inside this we need to give this SVG file and say maybe we call this a bus, and inside there we can give our image the SVG, and the source here, as we check in the file tree, we have this bus here, so we write this name bus. As soon as I've written B, it has just pop up around here. Now when we save it and go back to our page, we have the bus here loaded, and let's proceed. The next is going to be this writing. We have menu, So it must be popping up somewhere there. Let's check again. Yeah, we have tiny writing around here. So with this we have all this given. We will start them as we continue with this, but before we go ahead, I think I want you to give some link in terms of attribute, or we can just move on like this. It's perfectly fine. Now let's go to the style sheet, and from our project we have this blue background, and then the size of the bars are reduced to the writing menu, and the menu is in capital letter. So let's go and implement. Now within this style sheet I have some general set here where we have all this on here, and I've declared some variables for colors which we're going to be using. And for now, since I've given some background color, they must be here. It's a light gray. If we turn it off, you can notice some difference in the color of the background. So you can see it's white. When you turn it off again, we see the gray background color here. So let's move on to the header styles, and we can use the general selector here, which is the header, and we can give it a width of 100%, 100% of the browser. And then firstly, let me scale down this SVG image by coming to its div and give it some, yeah, I think it is here, bars. We give that container some width. With this declaration, it is going to take a full width of the width of that container. We're just going to declare. So we have, let me just paste here. Then I'm giving a width of, let me try 30 pixels. So with this, just scale down to 30 pixels, and that is what I'm looking for. So let's go on with the header styling, and we give it a background color. So here we're going to use bar. From our project here we have this color, and this color is here. So we have a background of header. This is that one, and you should be able to see it here. So we need some padding around. So padding of 1.25 pixels, or no, let's use RAM. Yeah, so that is great. And after this, from the same, okay, from this head container that contains all these two, let's make it a flex box here so that they align side by side, the word menu and the bars. I will come down here and say display flex, and you can see they're already side by side here. Then justify content to the center, and you also want to align content or align item to the center. So that is perfectly done. Now it has just taken the whole of this, but we do not want it to be that way. I think let's come back here, and the header here we're going to specify also from our header. We're going to use flexbox here, display flex. So justify content space between, and it has brought it back here to this location. I think that is what we want. So here they're merged together. We want to give some space around, and in this container we can give some space of maybe 1.3 RAM. Yeah, I think that is enough. So here we want to style this writing menu, and when we get back to here, the menu is the first thing. Text the correction to none. The underline is removed by that set rule, and the next one here we change the color. So the color I want it to be white. We have white somewhere here. And then want to have text transform to uppercase, and then the size also font to, let's try to run. Yeah, I think it's okay. So in this container we have everything inside it, and let's give it the cursor to be pointer. So whenever you place your hand around here, they must be pointing, meaning when you click at this, something will happen, and even here. So that is the whole of that container. If you want to see, you can give some background color, like maybe red, to see where that container is hovering. So you can see the whole of that container heading is having the whole of this area here. Where your hand is, it must be a pointer. Out of this, it's not going to work. So that is what we intended, such that during the time of animating our sidebar, everywhere you click around here should be able to open our sidebar. So let's turn this off and we proceed. Our bar is already done. When you check with this one, it's almost the same, but this one is white, having bigger font. We can reduce it in case we need, like maybe 1 point something. We can say 1.4 gram. That is too small, maybe 1.6. That is great. And remember, if you want to follow along with me and quote along with me, go ahead to the description of this video and get the link to the repository to get a folder that contains all these files, and you follow along with me. Please find the link in the description of this video. Thank you. Now next, let's move to the hero section. From our project here, you can see the hero is having this writing, and there is a background of the university library, which is not looking all that bright. We have used some color to cover it up such that the writings are all readable. So there are many approaches to this. Any approach is welcome. Let's go ahead and to the index file and try to, outside the heading, we make another div called hero as our class, and inside this hero, let's have this writing. I think the first writing here is looking bigger. We might use a H1. So let's have H1 and we give the name there. Now as we go here, we have our H1 displayed up here. So the next one is something, say, I think we can use H2 here. The next is a paragraph with dummy text of Lorraine. When we check around, we have all this one here. And the next is this button. So from the same div, we have a button in a class of btn, and it has a writing of read more with some arrow here. So this arrow, we can get it here using this code. A right arrow in this one here. So this is our button with this arrow and that writing. In a website, you might be prompting the person visiting the website to maybe read more about the website. So this one could be like a link. Instead of using button, you can use this link here, the anchor that will, when you connect, when you click on it, to connect you to the more of the writing you want, or the message you want your viewers to see clearly. So we're done with that content. I think we can go ahead and style it from the style sheet, and we're done from the header. Let's shift to the next side here, and we paste the class we copied from our index. Now what do you want to do? Let's get back there and see. We first need to have this one here covering the 100% of the width of that browser. So width will be 100%, and height, let's have it also maybe 100 of a big, maybe let's say 75 to see how it looks like. 75 view height, and of course we cannot see it clearly because I'm not given it any color. So background color, I can say yellow maybe. Yeah, so that is 75% of this. Now I want to center everything to look like this exactly, so we can use flexbox here. Display flex, as we see what is happening there. So let's have that page open, display flex, then flex direction should be column, and then justify content center, align item center, and let's select the paragraph and also we center it well. Before we come for that, I think let's start from up down. So let me turn up this yellow. Perhaps you can make this one here 100% of default. Now we don't need this yellow color here. And instead of that color, we can see when you scroll up, our header goes hidden. So to avoid this, we need to come back to the header here, and then we use position of fixed. Position fixed, and then top should be 0. So when you scroll around, you'll find it will not move. These are this fixed position here. And then one good practice is to give a Z index of a higher value, that when you create more content that will scroll, it should be able to scroll underneath the header. So let's give a higher value like maybe 999, and all other things will be beneath it. I think it's also good to have some shadow, light shadow there. So we can say box shadow around 1 pixel. We're able to see something here that is fine. The default color is black, but let's use our colors we used earlier on in our variable. So for the shadow we have it here. We just want to use that light gray, light gray color, or we can use some number here of also 2 pixels to be able to see it clearly there. And perhaps you can also increase the blur to some bigger number in order for you to see a little bit. Yeah, great. So let's continue with the hero. Now, before I continue with this hero here, we want to bring these techniques of the background together with this transparency. So background image, we give a comma and we use URL. So we need to insert our image down here of this library, as you can see down there. So what is the name of that? I think it's this one here. So let's do that and insert it here in our URL. It's by the name of plan 95. So there we are. It's a huge image, but I think we need to use its position to the center in order for us to be able to see it well displayed. So background position center. Yeah, so clearly we can see it here, but I think it's a little bit hard to read this text here because it is in black, and I use much of the transparency. So let's go and increase the transparency again to be able to view it clearly. So we're making it more darker. You can experiment this in your own free time to learn more about how it works. So I'll be giving this one here at around 4 opacity, 40%, and this one I want to take it to around here, such that when we use white colors around, you will be able to see clearly. We're done with the background image, and that is one of the methods I talked about earlier on. And then the next one here is going to be the writings around. So when we get back to this folder, to this file here, the file tree, yeah, I think to index, inside this hero we want to pick the header one. From our project, we have a white color with some shadow with this orange color. Now let's use the color for the H1 to be white. Great, we're able to see it clearly. Now the size also, we need to increase it. So the font size is, can I try for RAM? Is it matching with what we had earlier on? Yeah, fair. For RAM is not that bad. Maybe you can use 4 point something, like 4.5. Yeah, I think that is much better. And by the way, we can take a look at this in a mobile environment and see how it looks like. So we go to inspector. So in this device, this is how it looks like. Where when you toggle, you have this one here moving in that. We close it over here. Now we can try another device, like maybe a bigger one, like iPad. This is how it looks in an iPad. Perhaps we'll increase it to 50% or even 75%. Yeah. So it is a little of responsive. We don't have enough content to scroll, so that is how it looks like in mobile devices. And for other smaller devices like iPhone S5, for it to look nice, you need to use media queries. And for this video, we're not going to tackle that area. So we're just going to work with a little bigger fonts from 360. Yeah, so that is that. Let's remove this away. So having done that, let's continue with our styling. We need some shadow to this header one, and that is text shadow. So this text shadow we can use maybe like 1 pixel, and then 2 pixel, and the color, I want to use this one. So let's check. We can see the shadow by default is coming down. It's like the light is shining from here and casting the shadow there. So in order to achieve the shadow to look like what we have here up, we need to use negative values. So for the first value here, this shadow is a little smaller, meaning we have to increase the numbers here to, let's try 3 and even 3, but negative, and check out how it looks like. Yeah, we can see it. Negative is that side, but I think we need it to be on the other side. So this is positive value, Yeah, we are done that way. So we can increase this to maybe 6 to see the blur effect. I think that is much. 4 can do better. Great. If you match it with our project here, it's a little bit the same, only that we need some spacing around here. So we can implement that spacing. Since we use this one here, flexbox, we can use a gap here. So let's use a gap of, can we say 2 rand? Let's take a look. Yeah, 2 rams I think is looking great. Now we're done with this heading. So the next thing is moving to the heading 2. For now we don't see because of that black background. Now from our file here, how does it look like? Heading 2 is under hero, so we can specify it's saying also hero. And we need head 2, so heading 2 here with also color of white. We're able to see it here, but somewhere in our heading we have this orange color, so we're going to implement this orange color. So we had it in our variables, we can implement that and have our var that color, and that is exactly what we have. And we have to increase this size, so font size like 2 rand, maybe 2.5 rand to look more bigger. Yeah, I think this one's looking more better now. I think that is too much also. Let's reduce a little to 2.2. Still is much. It's like our spacing is a little too much, so we can reduce this spacing here to 1.8 or 1.6 and check out how it looks like. Yeah, I think it's fair. Okay, so the next is this paragraph, and also within hero, so we can say hero paragraph. Checking at the color is white, so we have color white. Great. And we can say text align to the center. Perfect. And then the size is too small, let's increase the size, so that is font size to 1.25 rand. This looks perfect. Great. So let's move on and style the button. Now the button is having some class of btn, so we copy this btn, and still is a child to the header, the hero. So we get back here and we say hero. Inside this we need to have this child button, and we give some styles there. Let's first give a padding of top and bottom. I think let top and bottom be 1.2 rand. That is top and bottom padding, and the right and left should be 1.6. Let's see. I think that is too small. Perhaps we use 3. Yeah, I think that is better, and we need these rounded corners to look like this one. So we need some rounded corners around there, and let's say border radius of, let's say 30 pixel. Yeah, great. So 1 pixel or 2 pixels can do. Solid with a color of button curve. So we need the font size to increase a little, like too round. That is too much. Also, can we try 1.2? Maybe 1.3, 1.4. Yeah, I think this is much better. Let's adjust the padding here. Thing 1. Yeah. So we need the background to be transparent. Great. And the color to be white. Yeah, perfect. So on a pointing, when you hover over, we need some color to appear exactly just like what we had here from our main file. But I think when you look at it, we have more padding at this side than in what I've just created, so we can add that through adjusting using. So let's get back there and adjust. We can have this one here around 4. Yeah, this is much better. Now let's have a pointer. The cursor should be pointer. Exactly. Now on cover, let's just copy this one and bring down. And we have cover. So background color should be this color. And let's give it a trial. So when we hover over it, you have that. But you can see that it is sudden. The transition of this color is so sudden, it's not smooth as compared to this one here. When you hover it, it comes slowly, it fades off slowly as you leave the button. So what do we do in order for us to fix that? Thing is quite easy. Though we come back here and we say transition. So this transition, you can say all 0. Maybe 3 seconds is, and you can say things nicer. Great. So I think we're done with this section here of the hero. So the next section is our sidebar, and this sidebar has a lot to learn from. First of all, we need some container to contain everything here. Then we need something to do with the heading, and in the heading we find some picture, we find some name, registration number, and there's some sort around here. So we have some elements also. One is an image of certain icon and a detail like enrollment. So we have some arrow down here. We're not going to have detail of all what it means, like maybe after clicking this one you need to see what is dropping down there, but we just wanted to display exactly how we have here. And when you hover over, you can see some color with with a gradient color. Down here is a little bit blue, down there is fading off a little bit white. So all this have there. So still we did a body to make it easy such that everything does not confuse you and looking more congested. We can fall over this. Just simply come down here and find this. In Mac it is negative, and in window you will see something down arrow pointing like this. So just click on this and folds this header. Now the same to this one here, we can click on that, it folds over. Now in this free area we can create another container for our sidebar container maybe. Now inside this sidebar, before we put some content, I would like to give some styling. We go step by step to see how everything comes live. And remember, we're done with this, so the next one here is the sidebar styles. So let's enter here into this comment and give what we have given in our container there. So I want this container to have a width of 320 pixel, and then a height of 100 viewport height is 100, and then let's also give it a background color of white, and then let's check and see whether it's popping up. Now we cannot see it here because it's a little bit down here. You can see it's down here. Now for us to bring it up, we need to disconnect it from the site by using position of absolute, such that you listen to the parent, which is the body. So position is going to be absolute. By default, the web page here is having position of relative. So having used that position relative, we say top. Now I wanted it to be some distance away, 70 pixel, and you can see 70 pixel from here. Now it has covered it up. Let's try to give it more to see how it's moving out for experimental purposes. Now you can see there's some small gap here, meaning the more you increase that, the more it moves away from the parent container up here. From this margin up from here up to here is 890 pixel, how I just give here. So we just need 70, because the height of this one is approximately 70. Now it is right immediately after here, and it's above, of course, this, and that is very great. And inside here, I think let's have some shadow around to the right. So we can say shadow, sorry, box shadow with around 10 blur effect. And then we give some color of the color of the shadow here. Now, since the background here is a little bit black, we cannot notice it well, but it's there, the shadow is there. So, you can see down here, the shadow is appearing clearly, but in this black part, we cannot see it so clearly because of the shadow being dark, and also the background being darker. We cannot notice, but in white background or lighter gray background, we can see it clearly here. Now the next one, let's move on from our side here, where we notice that we have some header here, and in this header it contains the picture and this name together with the registration number of this student. Feel free to use this picture, or else you can take your own picture from internet, and whatever you are comfortable with, please feel free. Otherwise, this picture is linked in the description below in the repository. So next, let's push on and in our CSS, so HTML, we enter that content. Remember, all that was empty, so this time we're entering some content inside, and we can say header or sidebar header. Now, what is the first thing we need to have there? Inside here, we need to have this picture, or we have that. So we need to have some div here, pasting it here. Now we give it a trial by seeing what is happening there. So let's have a width of 100% of that parent, and then a height of around, just for the purpose of seeing exactly what we want to have there, at around maybe 80 pixel, and I give it a color, some lighter color. I think we did not save it here, but it's some light blue. As we can see from here, we have some light blue. So how do we achieve that? We can just come from blue and use the wheel to have that here. As you can see, we have that. Let me increase the height a little to maybe 200. Yeah, around 200 there. Then let's make it a little bit lighter. I think that is not the color we're looking for. We can roll around here. Yeah. So around here should be light. And somehow that is still dark. Let's search around here. Okay. I think somehow I'm happy about it. What happened if I turn it off and then look at it like using a border bottom of 1 pixel solid, and then with a bar of color of shadow. Now let's have color of the border. Border color here is a little bit, yeah, you can see around here, so we need some shadow around there. Box shadow of 2 pixel, and then 8 pixel with a variable of this shadow here. Yeah, I think you can see it's looking great. But then we need our color to be around there. We shall turn it on. Back here, I need to have this close button, which when you have over it, it is a little bit red. So how do we achieve that? We create inside here a div with a class of close, and then here you can either use plus here and then you rotate, like you can see we have it here. Let's save this work, and you check around here we have this plus here. Now we can select this. That is one method of doing it. I have more than one method, I think. So this is close. So let's select this, and then take it to CSS to style. And this is still within the header. It's a good practice to have it the parent first and the child later. Let's have that selector. Now what happens is we want to have this position of absolute, and then top we have one run, then right also one run. So it is just push here. Now we need to increase it a little bit so that we see what we're dealing with. So we say font size 39. Yeah, but that is too much. Maybe let's have 2. Now what happens is, for us to have it exactly looking like this, we need to rotate it. So we have transform, then rotate to around 45 degree. So exactly that's being rotated here. But I think I'm not happy with this. I need to use the second method. So how to use the second method here? We don't need a thing, this rotation here. Let's just turn it off and use the other method. Instead of having this, let me remove it off and have this times. Yeah, what happened? I think we need some space around here. Yeah, perfect. We have it here. So that is what I'm happy with. But when we look at the size, it's like not matching well. This one is a little bit bigger than what we have here. And then the distance away from the right is also a little bit small. We can adjust that from our CSS. So here we can say 1.5 RAM or 1.4. And then the same to the first one there, 1.4. Yeah, that is great. But from the project, we have some gray color around here. So we have to do that, and you can see the color of also the cross is white, but here we have black and there's no gray color, so we can go and implement that also. So background, first of all we need to select this container or this div. Yeah, I think we're in the right place. The div is here close, so that is exactly what we are styling here. Let's give a width of 25 pixels and a height of also 25 pixels. And then to be able to see it, let's use that color, background color of gray or light gray. I think let's have 30 here. Even this one should be 30 pixels. Yeah, great, but it's not well aligned though. We're having it towards down here to the bottom or towards the left. So for us to center it, we need to use flex, thanks to modern CSS. So I think I'm happy to use it up here. Flexbox has made it work easy, so display flex. And then just find content center. We can see that is horizontally, and then vertically is align item to the center, and it's perfectly centered here. And somebody may be wondering to see I'm writing one line, and after saving everything, is that what do we use here? We're using Prettier as an extension here. Prettier is somewhere here. For now I'm offline, I cannot access or how to show you directly, but we have Prettier somewhere here. That is it. So let's move on and have these rounded corners by having a border radius of 50%. Yeah, that is well aligned. Now you want on hover, the two things will happen. One, the hand must be a pointer, and secondly, this color of the cross will change to white. In fact, it's clearly when it's white, so we can implement that here. The color is white already. Let's see what is taking place there. So we have triple F, and we save it. It's already here, white. But it's like this gray is too soft. Let's make it a gray, not light gray, such that we see it clearly. Great. Things more pronounced here. We can see it clearly. Now let's compare with what we had earlier on. Yeah, this is so nice. But then still the distance is a little bit much. We can keep on adjusting until we are all happy. So what is that distance? I think it was right. 1.4. We can drop it back to 1.2 and see how it looks like. 1.2 rem. Yeah, things looking quite good. So we're happy about that. And the next from our project also here is this image, and then the writings around here. So we start with the image. So from our index, we need to include that in a div. So let's say div with maybe class or profile image. Now, before inserting that image, I would like to give everything here. So let's go back there to our project we're building, and then down here we paste whatever we copied there, this class. Now we need a width of, let me say 200 pixel, and then a height of 250 pixel, and let's give some small background of maybe this color, and see what is happening. I think that is way beyond too big. So let's come back and say the height should be something like 150. And one thing we have to do, we also need to use flexbox here in this container. What is the container? The header container, this one. So we say display flex, then line item center, and then justify content also to the center. Yeah, it's well aligned. And we correct this one. The width is more than the height. This is not okay. So let's try 100 and see. That is too small. 130. Yeah, it's looking fair. So from here, want to insert that picture, and inside this should cover exact dimension that we have just made here. But we can try adjusting to see how it is matching. This is a little bit smaller than what we have done here, so it means we have a lot of adjustment here to see that it matches with what we have here. So we can drop this height to 130 and reduce this to 100 to see how it looks like. Does it rhyme with what we had? Yeah, we shall keep on fixing it. For now, let's leave it like that, and then let's get back into the index and insert that profile image. So we can have img, and what is the name of that image? Here we have it down here, is julie.png. So let's get back, close this file tree, and right there Julie. This will be able to replace that. Yeah, correct. Now you can see it's resizing accordingly, meaning our height is more. We can drop it a little from our CSS. So our height, we can bring it to 20, 120. Yeah, great. So it has covered it perfectly there, and we don't need this background. So let's remove it. Then when you look at here, the image is having some border with some border radius around, so we can also as well do that here. Now, how do we achieve that? There are two ways in which we can achieve. We can give the border radius here and hide the overflow. So perfect, it has worked correctly. Everything is well fitted inside there. When you check around here, it's almost the same. Great. Now, I think there was one thing we left with the border out with our cross here. That is the cover state where we need the color to change. So let's get back there and fix that to the close. We get this, copy it and paste it down here, and we have it a cover. So background color, but before that I think there's this dot, also make it not work. We say red on cover. So let's test it out to see. Yeah, great. And again, the color is hovering itself suddenly. We need its pointer to be there and the color, so that is cursor pointer. If we do that, correct, the pointer is working. Then inside here we also have the same transition we had earlier on here. Let's copy this transition and take it to the close button around here. Now we don't need this because we had an alternative for it. We can take it away, and quickly when you come here you can see it's transitioning very smoothly, but for now it's not working because we have not given a JavaScript to make it animate our sidebar. So the next thing we are good to go to turn on the background here that we selected earlier on to cover over to look exactly like what we had here. Yeah, so that is great. Though it's a little bit darker, we can still do something there by coming back here, hover over our color, and then scroll this one here to the right to have that lighter color. Yeah, thing, that one's looking so good. Now the next, remember we fixed this height, but it's not good to fix it like that. We need to make it so free, so we can remove it out from our CSS as we put more content to avoid overflowing. So you can see what I'm trying to mean here live by us entering more content. So the next one here after this picture, outside this picture diagram, we need to include the name, and this name seems to be heading 2. So let's do that. We insert heading 2 here and give the name there Dale Anthony. Okay, then the next one we can use paragraph for that, and its registration number. So let's get back there to our project and see it loading. Correct. And remember, we used flexbox for this before, but we have not specified the direction to be column, and that is why everything is side by side. So we can fix that. Going back to header, I think it was this sidebar header. This is the parent to all this. So let's find this class, which is this one here, and we say flex direction to column. And having done that, everything is fixed. Great. But when we look at our finished project here, this number is a little bigger compared to here. That's why it's occupying a lot of space. Now we can also fix that by giving some style to this paragraph. And where do we get this paragraph? If the paragraph is inside the header, sidebar header. So we can select it by having this sidebar header and the paragraph in it. So let's scroll down and apportion it in the project. So we have font size. We can have like 1.4 gram and see how it is like. Yeah, good. I think now maybe 1.2 can do. Yeah, around there. And the font weight also, we can have around 600 to see how it looks. Yeah, great. I think I'm happy about it. The header is perfect. So the next one is going to be the content of this header. So we can style one and paste the same style to the rest. So basically we're done with the header. With these header styles, so we can go to the HTML and fold this as before, give some space, then create some div for this individual. So how do you do that? Let's have this by a class of, so let's say info. Now inside here we need to have three things. One is this file in terms of SVG, and then this writing, and the other one here, and all these ones happens to be inside this. So we're going to use flexbox for that, and let's go. But here I need to limit this using a div, so we can say maybe 5. Now I want to style this file so that we see exactly what is taking place. Perhaps let's enter more content. One is, we can have this one as paragraph also, and it's written enrollment should be popping somewhere. And then next is this one. From there, let's check from the file tree and see what is the name of, it's this one here. So we put it around there. Now remember, we use absolute for this parent, so it must be hidden inside this header information here. Now we will do the same to this container, copying it, and it will be absolute. And then from the top, we need to have it around maybe 150 or 170 pixels. Yeah, it has been pushed out here, and we have not given width for it, so we can give a width of 100%, and that 100% is to the whole of this container. The whole thing is overflowing. We can see it here clearly. So next, from our index file, we look at this file here. That is the container for these images. So let's fetch it. And give it some width of 30 pixel. Some height of 35 pixel. We need to see how it looks like by first giving a temporary background of color. And let's get back there to see. That is it. But then it has to be, these containers will be flexed also to display them horizontally. So just find content space between. So the width of this wrapper should be that much. Now we can align this, align item to the center. So before we give this background color, we can go ahead and insert our first item here, then change this one here to uppercase, and that is the other div, this div that contains the word file, which we had it somewhere here, file. So inside this file div, we can insert our image. So the image for this is file pen. Now we can specify here, instead of having height, we're just going to have the width only, and we turn off this color, and that is very good now. So in this container also, we want everything to be a pointer, where we assume when we click everywhere it will respond. We see more detail about the enrollment of this candidate. Now for that, we go into this container, which is called student info, and it's right away here, student info. So we do that and say cursor should be pointer. Now when you point at it, that is what we have. And next, inside this, there was that writing enrollment. Where do we get that enrollment writing? When we come back, it is on this paragraph, and this paragraph is inside the wrapper. So is it saved into this? Yeah. So it's inside the wrapper. We collect this and get back there and find the container written wrapper. Under it here, we paste it here, and we select that paragraph, and then make some styling. So let's have it text transform. to uppercase. Yeah, it is now uppercase here. Great. And let's get back there to have our cover. Just like from the design or from our work here, if you cover over, you'll find that nice color with a gradient. So we come back to this info on hover. So let's copy that. So we have a state. Now what happened? There should be some background color, and let's use just background and use linear gradient. So the first one should be a little light color, so we can use blue, and then two blues. So the first one, when we hover over, wanted it to have that color, and probably the color should be transparent. We can check on hover whether we have something like that. Yeah, 220 was the width of this container, so it has covered it all. And I think this one is looking more dark, so we can come back here and correct this a little by putting this one down a little, covering on it. After covering it up here, we scan this a little like this, and when we check around, yeah, this is correct. So when we compare with the other design, in fact this one is a little bit dark, and what we have here is more shouting blue, but I think I'm happy with it. Now we can go ahead and create the remaining one just like this one here by duplicating the same container here several times. So we need more, 1 2 3 4 5 of them, and replace those informations. And now this time I'm going to the JavaScript, but what are we interested to do in the JavaScript? I want to toggle some class, so we can say hide, maybe hide class, hide item or sidebar. And in this we can give it margin or margin left to negative 250 pixel. Now what happened here is when we copy this class and we give it to the container, this container here, which is the site, what is the name of that? I think it's this one here. So when we paste this class to this container, we expect it to disappear. Yeah, correct, it has disappeared, and we're going to do that using JavaScript. So let's remove it here. We shall animate it using JavaScript. Now, meaning the first thing we have to take is declare some variables here. By first of all looking at this cross, what is the class for this cross? It was in a header, so header is up here. We can unfold it and look at the cross. The cross was having this here is having close, so we can copy it and go to our main.js, then declare some variable using const keyword. So we can say close, maybe button, maybe using camel case, and I want to graph it using query selector. And for query selector, when you're using class, you need to use dot. So that is one. Now let me duplicate this one here. 2 more terms. Then the next one we're going to graph according to what we have here. We're going to grab this one. We need to graph this menu. Menu is this one here, and it's inside this head here. So we need to grab this, and we also paste it here, and we can say menu. Then after having selected these two, we need also, but let's declare this one here later. Then first comment this out, and we use the first two here. When you click here, these things will hide. Then when we click here, it will come back. Then we shall create the other model here that looks like this one later, and that is why in our style we will not put on these styles here yet. So we shall come for that later, and let's move on. So what happened is in this we need to have some function. So I'm going to use ES6 function where I'm going to use const keyword, and we can say open btn, or we can say open function, maybe fn, and with the parentheses, so this arrow. Now inside here we shall call this function when we click something. So what are we going to click? We are going to click on menu here outside. Then on clicking menu, what happened? We say at event listener, and we're listening for click. Now we call that function here after clicking inside here. So now what happened after calling this function? What happened is we need to animate by adding a class that the container, I think the whole of this container, maybe let's declare it here. We turn this one off and we come back to see the name of our container, which had all, like for reason here, that container is having the whole of this content here. What was the name of that container? Let's come back here and check it out. The name of that container is sidebar container, this one. So we also need to graph it as well because it's the one to be animated. So here we can replace this class by that, and we can say container element. So we take this container element inside this function, and we bring in the class list. So we add a class list that we created earlier on in the CSS. So this is our class list that we want to add. Let's grab it and paste it here like this. So on save, we give it a try. When we click this will disappear. But as disappeared, it's not coming back again. For it to come back again, we need to do something. Now, to make it a little bit safer, this is open function. We can go back here, and then at that at first we had it hidden, and then when we click, it will open. Now we can say remove the class list. So let's give it a trial. We click on it and come back, but we want that this close box, when you click it, it should close. So let's make another function, and we can call it close function, and then we want to add. So what happened when you close the close button? Meaning we're replacing this container by close button here. In our, we're listening to this button here. So here we can duplicate this and change this one here to close button. Then this function will also select the other close one. Now let's give it a trial. If we click, this will come, and when you also click on this, it will disappear. Perfect, it's working, but it's animating itself so quick that it's not enjoyable, just like what we have here. Now we can go back and make this transitioning in CSS. So let's come back to the CSS, and in that container, somewhere here, where is our container? Here, yeah, in here. Then we give it transition of 0.5 second is, and then we give it a trial. Let's get back there. When you click, yeah, it's transitioning smoothly. When you click again, it's transitioning smoothly. So after doing this, the next thing is when we click outside, it should be able to click also to close the button here, I mean the sidebar. So by doing that, we need to create a model. So we can come back to this model around here. We can give it anywhere, maybe here after the hero, and we say model. Now let's style it. By going back to the style sheet, and in the last section here of our comment of model style, so let's paste it, and we give a width of 100% to the browser. First of all, we need to give a position of relative, I mean absolute, to listen to the browser, and we give a right of 0. Let's duplicate them, all the 4 properties: right, left, top, and then bottom. And then I want to give a z index of next to the header, around maybe 887. So we cannot see it because we're not given some color, so we can give some background color of around black. Now it has covered the whole content here. That is great. Now let's give a transparency of 50% around somewhere, maybe around here, for us to be able to see what is there, and we can use to look at the blur effect. Backdrop blur to pixel, and you can see it is covering over, everything is blurring up. Now we can increase this to maybe 4 if we want to see more for experimentation purpose. Yeah, think that one's looking okay. Now next, when we click at this, we're unable, because that thing is underneath, we need to bring it up to appear clearly. So we need also to give some z index. We're giving it here of 888, and now it's up. But for now it's not working because we have not authorized it to work using JavaScript. And let's get back there to where the model is. So our model is here, and then the cursor should be pointer also. Now let's graph the model and take it here. We create another variable and we call this one model. The cluster also should be model. And then what happened to the model? On click also should do something. So we can duplicate this one here and we call it model. So what happened is a close button, because we need to, after clicking on it, it should be able to close. And like here, we click and we click on it, it is closing, but it's not disappearing. And then we need to give some style of none after here in this function of close. So we can say model dot style display equal to none. So let's give it a trial. We click here, we have our model done. Click is working again, and then we don't see our model. How do you fix it? So what happened is when we click on here, the model should be displayed block. Now we can copy this and take it to up here, then paste it and say display block. Such that when we click, here it disappears. When you click again it comes. When you click it goes, and I think perfect. It's working correctly. We can see in full screen where we have this. Click outside, it's working. Again, click our button, it's working. For your assignment, you are going to create more of this one to look like what we have just created earlier on here by duplicating more of this content and change the fixtures which were in our file. And as I mentioned earlier on, the link of this folder is in the description below, where you can get it in my GitHub repository, and you'll be able to finish these remaining items here, all these elements, to have all this to develop your talent. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you find it so helpful, please try to post it to as many people as possible by liking the video